other time I have forgotten to record the uh, uh, presentation, but now today I'm just try to record it. Otherwise, I want to say one thing once again. On February, on Friday, 11:30 to 1:30 morning, I want to take once again the cash verification as per the request. Lot of members they have sent through their mail or to my WhatsApp. Okay, I have to respect members, and one sincere request to the fellow members: kindly share the link to not only to your friends or members. You can share the link to the students also, because that will be useful to them also. With this, I am going to start the session, and almost members they are coming fast to join this verification. See here, this is a very important slide. Which of these is the odd one out? With reference to dual loan verification, this slide is very important. This point you have to bear in mind while you are verifying the duals. There are two practical cases I want to say. One is fraud in dual loans sanctioning. Another one is also another type of another type of fraud. I happen to be a part in two big frauds I have found out. So what in chat box you can put which one is the odd one out. Gold biscuits cannot be pledged. This is a thing Shankar sir said. Gold biscuits cannot be pledged. Okay. Gold ring. What's a gold ring? See, from dual loan angle, you have to give the answer. From dual loan angle, because you have to give the answer. Gold ring can be pledged. Then Santosha said gold ring. Okay. Cash. Cash. One sir, correct. Cash cannot be pledged. Okay, that is not the okay. So odd man out is cash. Okay, that's a different thing. With reference to dual loan, among the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items, one slide is not eligible for dual loan. Yeah, platinum is also not eligible for dual loan. Yes, sir. Radhakrishnan sir, you are correct. Platinum is also not eligible for dual loan. But among the slide, I have put some 5 slides. Which one you cannot pledge before bank, or only before bank, you cannot get dual loan. Second one is, what is second one, sir? Shankar sir? Stones also, I think, since the valuation is difficult by the bank appraiser. Yeah, stone, any jewels with stones, they will reduce the stone weight. They will not consider that weight. Jewel and cash. Okay. See, in the basic thing is, while doing the gold loan verification, you have to be very careful that a bullion or the gold bars are not eligible to get dual loan. But few banks, they adopt one technique. See, in the gold bar, they put a hole and make it as a ring so that it's a jewelry, so that they have to produce, and they are saying that this is jewelry, because in the gold bar there is no hole. So plain gold bar, it is not, they are not eligible to get dual loan. But if you put a hole and fix a ring, if you if you fix a ring and you put even uh, thread chain, that is an ornament. So based on that, bankers they are giving, but you have to be careful when you are doing jewel loan verification. You have to see that only the gold, when jewelry items are eligible for the gold loan and not for bullion items or platinum or gold bar. Yes, sir. Many banks accepted the gold coin and make a small ring at the top and give loan. Yes, sir. Ravichandran, sir, you are 100% correct. Perfect. So this is a piece of information I want to share to our members. Okay, let me go to the auditing area. What are the records to be asked? See, you are going to the branch on receiving the appointment. You will definitely meet the manager. The manager will ask, sir, which item you want to verify. So you have to say that, sir, I will start the audit with cash verification. That area we have already covered. Opening cash, closing cash, and even auditing to, mid of the hours also we can do it. Next item, we will definitely say that, sir, we are going to verify the jewel loan packets, where we are going to concentrate on jewel loan records. So this thing, kindly, if any new members, they want to take note of it, kindly take note of it. Though I am recording it, you have to concentrate on the presentation. Please take everything on the record and ask me if you have got any doubt. First thing you have to ask is jewel loan stock register. What is jewel loan stock register? See, when you enter the branch, jewels have been kept inside the vault. There, they will maintain overall jewel loan stock register, overall stock at the vault. So there you can find the balance. What is the total stock as on the date of verification? So here we have to verify the jewels or jewelry packets that has been kept in the vault on the date of inspection or at the time of inspection. Okay, so you have to ask jewel loan stock register. Suppose if you are going on 4th of April, you have to see what is the stock at the time you are going to enter. So on 4th of April, morning 10:30, you have to take note of the stock. 10:30, what is the stock? Then you have to go for the verification. First thing you have to ask jewel loan stock register. Yeah, it is also called as jewel loan in and out register. Yes, but in and out register, you have to see the balance. So that is called as in and out register. Yes, Vishwanath sir, you are correct. A jewel loan stock means number of jewel loan packets. Yes, you are correct. This number of jewel loan packets. See, normally in jewel loan stock register, you can see opening stock, that is yesterday balance. What is the item that they have added? Suppose if before stock commencement of audit, if anyone has availed jewel loan on that particular day, they have to add in that jewel loan stock register. So you have to verify the closing stock at the time of verification. What's the stock available at the time of verification? Here it is only jewel loan packets. I am not saying that. Yeah, you are correct, sir. Shrikant sir, it's a jewel loan packets. Everything is being reflected in jewel loan stock register. So first thing you have to ask, sir, I want to verify, I want to see the jewel loan stock register, because this is a base record based on which you have to do the jewel loan verification. Second one is appraiser appointment letter. See, bankers, managers or officers, they are not well equipped. They are not trained in appraising the jewels. Whenever you enter, and even if you go for any jewel loan, manager or officer, they will ask you to go and meet the appraiser. The appraiser, on receipt of seeing the jewels, he has to certify that these jewels are genuine. It is not spurious. They are not genuine. The appraiser is the main person. He has to value the jewelry. What is the present value of the jewelry, whether it is a spurious or not? Is there any wastage that he has to remove? So he is the main person who is helping the bankers to give jewel loan. So this all, see, you are also specialized in jewel verification, jewel valuation, but you are not allowed. The head office of the bank, they have to appoint the appraiser, because only that appraiser is allowed to go and value the jewels, which the customers they are submitting to the bank to avail the jewel loan. So here, this point, this appointment letter, almost in my experience, more than 90% auditors, they are not seeing, they are not asking the appraiser appointment letter. You have to ask. Why I am putting it as second point is, when I visited one of the nationalized banks some 3 years back, when I asked this, the appointment of appraiser has expired some 10 years back, but still is valuing the jewels. So if any contract is terminated, if anything goes wrong, then that appraiser will not be held responsible, because only the branch or manager is responsible, because they have not continued the appointment of appraiser. So you have to ask for the appraiser appointment letter, whether the appointment is within the valid period. So whether the appointment has expired or not, this point you have to see. In the appointment of appraiser, you can see, I think someone is scribbling on the screen. Please, please don't do it. Otherwise, I have to log in once again. Please don't scribble. Appointment only enough, or whether he or she have qualification of jewel appraising. In many places, the appointment is based on a particular professional cash people was appointed based on his experience or liaison with bank. Is it correct, sir? You need not bother. That appraiser should have got appointment letter from the head office. To which caste is as belong, that is not our botheration. The head office has to give the appointment letter. So far, even touch your heart, you have gone for a lot of audits. Have you asked the appraiser appointment letter? No. So far, including me, up to 10 years of my practice, I have not asked for the appraiser appointment letter. In the appraiser appointment letter, every terms will be clearly defined. You have to go through the terms and conditions. Then only you have to approve the appraiser's signature, because he is only recommending that the appraiser's valuation. So the appraiser appointment should be a valid one. This point you have to see. Appraiser is appointed for a fixed term. Yes, sir. Should be renewed for a particular year. In many cases, we did not get valid renewal letter. So you have to give this point in the LFIR plus in the main report also, because the jewel appraisal has been done by some third party who is not recognized, who was not appointed by the head office. This is a serious matter. So you have to see the appraiser appointment letter. Next one is, you have to ask for the jewel loan circular issued during the year, because if you call for the jewel loan circular, there you will find the per gram weight allowed one, the interest rate applicable to be charged to the jewel loan. What is the interest rate applicable for agricultural advances? What is the interest rate applicable for non-agricultural advances? So jewel loan circular is very, very important. You have to ask. Otherwise, the manager, you will say that, so in this mail ID you will get it. So they have to download the jewel loan circular, and they have to keep that circular for their file before altering the interest rate, before altering the per gram weight eligible for the jewel loan. So you have to ask for the jewel loan circular. Then you have to see whether the interest rate charged is towards agricultural gold loan or non-agricultural gold loan. Because agricultural gold loan, the interest rate will be very, very minimal. So you have to see whether that gold loan customer has produced any revenue records with the reference to agricultural holding. Some bankers, in some banks, they waive the condition that up to 1 lakh, they are receiving self-declaration that I am holding agricultural land. So this is my declaration. So kindly issue me agricultural gold loan. If the customers they have not submitted the declaration, or if they have not submitted the evidence that he is holding an agricultural land, then that customer, that borrower is not eligible to get interest rate concession towards their gold loan. So as a chartered accountant, as an auditor of that bank, you have to verify whether that agriculture gold loan is being clearly proved. Sometimes they produce some records, basic records of patta, adangal, something in that manner they will give. Normally bankers, they say that, okay, we will give you, it's only 75,000, we will give you in agricultural interest rate. So as a chartered accountant, you have to satisfy yourself, though the manager has said that this party has got agricultural lands, you have to see whether there are any records available at the file or not. So even I suggest that this agricultural verification, normally we are going only for the alive gold loans, but we have to ask for the closed gold loan files. There also you have to find the records. If there is no record, if there was no record found, then you have to recommend higher interest rate, thereby the revenue leakage towards sanction of the gold loan. You have to work out and you have to give that point in LFAR. This is to this extent the branch has classified as sanctioned the loan under agricultural gold loan category, whereas there are no records. So I am recommending for non-agricultural category, you can do it. How whether all land documents should be in the name of the borrower. Viraya sir, you have asked a very, very sensitive question and very, very important question. It need not be. So if the land is in the name of some Mr. X, this X and that landholder, that gold loan party, if they produce any lease agreement in the form, even in white sheet also, sir, I have entered into agricultural operation with the reference to this number for say 1 year or 6 months. If they produce any lease agreement to the bank, then that document will also be accepted, and you can give gold loan in agricultural category. How bank check whether the gold is genuine or not? That is why appraiser is being appointed. Appraiser has to certify that the jewels are genuine. There are no spurious gold. So can you tell us one case study on gold loan? Not one case study, sir. I think 1 plus 70. I don't know if it's a name. I can tell not only one case, one fraud. I can tell 2 frauds. In the last I will tell, because almost members they are joining. That case study, that fraud case study will definitely help you. Please wait, and I will definitely cover that point. Next point we have to see is, you have to see whether the branch has collected processing charge. Normally, there's a waiver of processing charge up to 1 lakh in some banks. In some banks, it is 50,000 rupees. If the loan exceeds 50,000 rupees, then the bank has to collect charge based on that 0.5%, 0.25%. Even a few banks, they charge 1% on the on the loan sanction. Here, how they manipulate. Today, they have, suppose if we fix that, if the loan amount exceeds 50,000 rupees, you have to collect processing charge. Today, Mr. X has availed 25,000. Day after tomorrow, he will once again come and avail 30,000. That means the limit cost 50,000. It is per borrower concept. It is not per loan concept. It is a per borrower. It is not a per loan concept. If the limit exceeds 50,000, then the bank has to collect processing charge. This is an income leakage. So this you can find because in bank CIF, customer index folio, every customer will be allotted one number. Agriculture, yeah. This question, I think, friends, they've asked. Bonds are also appraiser resignation and okay, processing charge.
Sorry to interrupt.
You have to verify.
Not in mute. So some other sounds also keep coming. Kindly.
Yeah, I have unmuted, sir. No problem. I have muted everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Charge you have to verify. This is an income leakage area. It's an income leakage area. Please, as a chartered accountant, in LFA there is one specific column. Have you verified the income leakage portion? You have to say that this is a major leakage prone area because of the limit. If the limit crosses 50,000, you have to charge. So today they have availed 25,000. Day after tomorrow, if they avail 40,000, so in total it is 65,000. For 65,000, they have to collect processing area. Not only 65,000. If the borrower once again he came and availed another Jol loan also for that, even the Jol loan amount was around 10,000 rupees also, they have to collect processing. So processing charge, see, has to be noted, and I can vouch that in almost all banks, all branches, there will be leakage of revenue in the form of collection of processing charge. Kindly take note of it. If you are going to the bank, normally what you are doing, say it's only a Jol loans, there is no charge. Okay, Jols are correct, Jols are intact, everything is correct. Don't do like that. You have to first think, you have to see the processing charge, whether the branch has collected processing charge. Because why I'm insisting processing charge, in my experience, in Jol loan alone, I have given during my statutory audit, I have given more than 4 lakh income leakage in that processing charge area. So please concentrate. And Mohan sir asked one question: what if appraiser resigns and dies when a certain gold loan is yet outstanding? Sir, the appraiser role is to recommend only. He is not sanctioning the loan. He is not responsible for the collection of the loan outstanding. One second. He is not responsible for the collection of the loan. So whether he dies or resigns, it is not his botheration. It is the botheration of the bank. They have to collect. Next one question, VK Vishwanath sir asked: Agri Jol loan is subsidized, rate of interest or agriculture Jol loan, benefit enjoyed. He said the auditors responsible to verify the end use. Sir, the verification of end use in Jol loan, it is the duty of the bankers. We have to satisfy ourselves that this agricultural Jol loan category has got the agricultural land records or revenue records, whether they are following the head office rules and regulations. Suppose that's why you asked for the Jol loan circular. In Jol loan circular, there will be mentioned that up to 1 lakh, the branch manager has got the power to sanction a loan in agricultural category. If that is that, you need not bother. But if the loan exceeds 1 lakh per customer, it is not per account, per customer, then you have to concentrate on the revenue records. This is the reply I want to give to Mr. Vishwanath sir. Then another question is come. Srikanth sir, one request, please complete the presentation, then please attend queries. Yes, sir. For agricultural advances, it is end use is agriculture. How we check? So it's only a self-declaration, Amar sir. You have to check at the from the records only. Should we have to verify commitment charge along with the processing charge? Sir, commitment charge is the charge that's being levied towards unutilized portion in cash credit account. So here Jol loan is a term loan. There is no commitment charge for the Jol loan. Commitment charge is applicable for cash credit loans. If there is any unutilized person, say if the party has been sanctioned 1 crore, the party has availed only 40 lakhs, the ceiling, if it falls, utilization limit falls below 70,000, 70% or 60%, the bank has to charge commitment charge. That is being calculated only for the cash credit account. For the term loan, there is no commitment charge. So I've got a problem in my laptop. Sometimes it will link. Do one second. Do bank do insurance of gold in that? So yes, they are doing it. Is there any limit for loan amount related to square feet of land? See, loan is loan with reference to gold loan is related to the value of the jewels, and there is no square feet of land. I will re-estimate my question. Bank relied on the appraiser and granted loan. And if you disassociate after grant of the loan on fake jewelry, then what you see, before putting the jewelry into the vault, it is the duty of the appraiser. He has to certify that the gold is not spurious. After the manager has put the gold into, after he has taken the custody, then it is the responsibility of the manager and not the appraiser. So appraiser is not responsible for this, but if anything goes wrong, then appraiser will also be held. They are putting appraiser as he is also made as party to the fraud. So next area we have to concentrate is appraiser commission. In the sanction letter, they have to you have to see who has to collect the appraiser commission. Normally in cooperative sector, what they are doing, they have appointed appraiser on monthly salary basis. So whatever commission towards appraiser charge duties, everything is credited to the profit and loss account of the cooperative societies. In nationalist banks, what they are doing, in few banks, they have the policy that the appraiser can collect his commission separately and it is not credited to P&L. In that case, the borrower is directly making the commission to the appraiser. It is not reflected in the P&L account of the bank. So in that case, you need not bother because the appraiser is taking commission. But you have to just check whether the appraiser has charged the commission according to the appointment letter. If you have to charge only 100 rupees, he has to charge only 100 rupees. Suppose if he has collected more than 100 rupees, then that point you have to give in your report. Sometimes some banks, some even nationalized banks, what they are doing, they are crediting the appraiser commission to the P&L account. They are fully paying the appraiser commission to the appraiser. If that is the case, because it's a credit to P&L and debit to P&L, so if any payment is done or paid to the appraiser, then you have to collect TDS on the appraiser commission. So because if the commission is 30,000, you have to collect TDS on the payment made by the bank to the appraiser. This point also you have to see. You have to see whether there is TDS is being done to the appraiser commission. Because there are two methods of appraiser commission. One is directly if the commission is received by the appraiser, no TDS principle is applicable. But as an auditor, you have to see whether the commission paid to the appraiser is according to the bank's rules and regulation 1. Because the innocent public should not be cheated, should not be penalized just because they have approached this bank. 1. Second thing, if the commission is being directly credited to the P&L account of bank and if the entire amount is being paid by the bank to the appraiser, then the bank has to collect TDS. This is a 2 important point that you have to see. And next one is, what is the procedure of checking? This is a very, very important. Just like that, whenever you enter, you have to ask for the jewel loan stock register. You have identified that this branch has got 1,842 jewel loan packets. The packets may be in maybe in the form of transparent packet, you can vouch, you can see, or some jewels have been put in the cloth bag. There are two types of bags. That point I will come later. Is there any relevance of acreage in agri gold loan? Sir, Sharma sir, you are correct. Actually, you have put a direct message to me. Yes, is there any relevance of acreage in agriculture gold loan? Sir, it is up to the manager to decide the quantum of the loan based on the agricultural records that the customer has produced, that the borrower has produced to the bank. It is up to the bank manager to decide the quantum of loan, but this quantum of loan is directly related to the jewels which he has pledged to the bank. And next one is, there are first thing you have to ask for the jewel loan stock list. Simultaneously, you have to ask for the jewel loan application alive. There are closed applications also will be there. So you have to ask for the jewel loan application alive. You have to count all jewel loan application, and the stock of jewel loan application alive should tally with these jewel loan stock list. This exercise you have to give to your staff and ask them to count only the jewel loan application, and they have to compare with the stock of jewels. If there is any variance of if there is any difference, then you have to ask for the reason why the jewel loan applications they are not. It is not that. You have to ask for the reasons, and if the reason is not satisfactory, then you have to cover that point in long form audit report as well as in the main report, because based on the jewel loan application only loans will be sanctioned. You have to compare, and if there is any difference, then you have to ask. Normally, this one is, second one is jewel loan closed during the year. You have to ask for the closed application. I'll see, tell why I insisted for closed loan application. You have to ask for it because normally the branch, they have kept the jewel loan application closed separately. You have to ask this assignment, you have to give to your staff. What are the important things that you have to see that I will cover in my next slide. So you have to ask for the jewel loan closing application. Yes. Now you have asked for the jewel loan application alike, because this point you have to compare with the stock. Now you are satisfied. What are the things that you have to see in the jewel loan application? You have to see whether the branch has obtained all KYC norms, all KYC records. Okay, even in the application, the borrower's photo should be affixed. One. Then the borrower has to submit either his PAN card or Aadhaar card. Now all the bankers, they insist the Aadhaar card towards the gold loan. So you have to see the KYC norms, whether the branch has followed the KYC norms. If it is not there, then this point you have to cover in your LFAR, because RBI has already started to penalize levy penalty on those banks which have not followed the KYC norms. So as a chartered accountant, you should not leave this point. You have to verify the application that the borrower has produced KYC records in the form of PAN card, Aadhaar card, passport, voter's ID. So to prove that he is a genuine person or not. So KYC norms you have to see. Can there be a term loan closed and gold yet not yet collected? Yes, sir. Mohit sir, I will come to that point on a later part. It's a valid question. That point I've already included in my presentation. And you have to see the application that every column is being properly filled. Name of the borrower, son of, wife of, daughter of, the address and everything you have to verify. You have to see whether the application is being filled, and you have to see another thing. This name and address should tally with the KYC records. Whether the same address is being written or some address is being written or not, that point you have to mention, and you have to cover that point in your LFAR. And another thing I want to share here, in the latest LFAR, not collecting fresh KYC, citing the reason that they are existing customers. See, various charges are exist. They are existing customers. Okay, for the existing customers, they would have got the KYC earliest. If they quote the account number, that is sufficient. Because the In that current account or SB account, they already KYC documents are already been obtained. It's okay. Many banks, especially State Bank, do not generate the GST invoice for auction. Yeah. So just wait for the auction, sir. I will come to that point. And the name of the borrower and address you have to see. And in the latest LFIR, I want to say that point. In the latest LFIR, exceeding 10% of total advances outstanding, you have to see 100% verification. Less than that, you can do the test check. But in LFIR, they have already included a new format. Name of the customer, name, account number, name of the customer, total value of the loan, funded, non-funded, and total amount. So if you are verifying jewels, you have to give item-wise, item-wise evidence that I have verified the following accounts. Previously, what we are doing, sir, I have verified according to me everything is correct. In one general line, we used to complete the audit, but in the LFIR latest format, if you are doing, that means it is nothing but you have to reproduce your working sheets to the report in LFIR. Please be careful. This is the latest thing included in the LFIR. Bill of gold requires sometime gold. So there is with reference to gold loan, the purchase bill is not required because some jewels maybe you might have got from your grandmother or mother or something. So purchase of invoice towards gold loan, towards gold is not required in case of gold loan. So description of jewels. What is the description? Is it a bangle? In that application, they have to mention bangle, necklace, ring, and what are the other items. They have to clearly mention the description of the jewels in the application. If that column is vacant, if it is not filled, it is the what I can say, it's a 100% case that you have to cover that defect. You have to report that defect in your LFIR, long form audit report. So description of jewels you have to see. Then how bank know that applicant is a genuine owner without a bill? Yeah, Amar sir, I'll come back. I will cover that point, no problem. And weightage of jewels. What is the weight of the jewels? Is it 7 sovereign, 8 sovereign, or 9 sovereign? Then from that you have to deduct the wastage. What is the wastage? So I'm not considering the stone that has been when put in the ring, that I will not consider that way. So, and purity is being checked by the appraiser. Everything they have to check, and they have to give they have to remove the weight towards dust and everything. And the appraiser, he will put only the net weight in the application. So you have to see whether the appraiser has put the net weight or not. Then you have to see the jewel loan circular. What is the per gram eligible for the jewel loan? Sometimes it is 2,300 per gram. Sometimes for after 8 days, 9 days, the adapters would have they have increased. They have issued a circular saying that per gram weight is 2,332 rupees. So if the appraiser has sanctioned, has recommended a per gram weight as 2,332, then it's okay. If he has recommended 2,400, then it's a violation of head office circular. As a chartered accountant, you have to see that the branch has sanctioned higher loan than the head office circular recommendation. This point you have to see. So per gram weight, you have to go for the net weight. Then what is the per gram eligible? That also you have to arrive it. Then you multiply it. Then you see the calculation that this customer is eligible for, say, 1,32,800 rupees. The bank has sanctioned 1,25,000. Then it is okay. If the per gram, that is this multiplication, the say this application says that this borrower is eligible for 1,32,000, but if the branch has sanctioned 1,40,000, that means 8,000 has been done without any security. So that point also you have to see is a very, very important area. You have to verify the jewel loan application carefully. That too, if you are a concurrent auditor, you have to do this exercise every month. You have to call for the jewel loan application. You have to do all this exercise before you submit your report. And loan recommended as per gram approved, because only the approved extent you have to give the loan. Then you have to see that the borrower has signed the loan application, the pronote. Because in some banks there will be separate pronote for jewel loan. In some banks, the application itself contains the pronote or DPN. So you have to see that the borrower has signed the pronote, but the signature should be in one in the revenue stamp and one in the blank space of that pronote. Signatures you have to obtain in DPN. Normally, in jewel loan applications, revenue stamps have not been affixed, but it's a violation of that state government rules, because state government has got the power to fix the stamp duty. So it's a violation of state government rules. So you, as an auditor, as a chartered accountant, you have to see whether revenue stamp is affixed on the jewel loan application in the pronote area. So, and you have to see that the borrower has signed the document. And I am coming to Amar sir question: how bank knew that loan applicant is a genuine owner without bill? Sir, for this there is a special declaration form that this loan belongs to me. So there is a special declaration. You have to see that you have to get these signature, because you are verifying with the KYC norms. You have to believe your customer. The duty of the banker is to see that there is no spurious gold. That's all. But the ownership of jewel has to be done based on the self-declaration given by the borrower. So if the husband has availed a jewel loan, but however gold belongs to wife, sir, sir, OnePlus, I think, I don't know is that member name. It is allowed in most of the families, including my family and your family. You are taking your white jewelry and go to the bank and you have wired it. So normally they say that this jewelry belongs to me, belongs to my family. It's only self-declaration based on which loan is being sanctioned. If wife came and if she objected, then only problem arises. But bankers are safe, because based on the self-declaration, they have proceeded the sanction of the loan. For this, you have to call for the head office circular. What if you have got any doubt, you can ask the manager to produce a head office circular. So based on which the rule based on which you have sanctioned the loan, that is the about the ownership of the jewelry, you have to ask. Is it is only movable property? No need for the above. Sir, Shankar sir, it is not the movable property. It's not only movable property. We are discussing only with the jewels. Movable property, pen is also a movable property. For this, ownership need not be proved. See, only with reference to jewel loan, they have to prove the ownership. If it is a vehicle, you can see from the RTO records. If it is an immovable property, you can see from the registrar, sub-registrar records. But with reference to jewelry, it's only a self-declaration, and the bankers, they have to satisfy that the customer is a genuine person or not. So borrower, whether the borrower has signed the application or not, that also you have to verify. And in the application, the appraiser has to sign the document, sign the application. That I recommend. He is not sanctioning. He is not sanctioning. He recommends that this party is eligible for this loan. The appraiser might have recommended 1,42,000 rupees, but the manager can sanction only 1,30,000 also. It is up to the manager to decide. But the sanction amount should not exceed the appraiser recommendation. Then below that, the manager has to sanction, or the officer has to sanction the jewel loan. Then only the amount has to be credited to the loan. In almost 25% of the loan applications, manager signature or officer signature will not be there. So as a chartered accountant, you have to satisfy yourself that the jewel loan application has been signed by the manager and the loans in the under the loan sanction column. If it is not there, then that jewel loan is being sanctioned without manager's knowledge. So if that is there, then that point you have to report in your audit in your LFIR. If in LFIR there is one column that jewel loan the manager, the loan has been sanctioned without the knowledge of manager, whether the manager exceeded the dedicated powers. Under that column, you can say that for the following jewels, the manager has not signed the documents. So I have land of 10,000 square feet and the maximum total expenses incurred is 10 lakhs and I am asking for 25 lakhs. I give enough gold. If the bank, see, with reference to jewel loan of agricultural category, you have to prove that you are an agriculturist. Otherwise, you have to prove that you are holding agricultural land. See, even the maximum total expenses may be 10 lakhs, but you can say that in future I am going to develop. So the end use is the responsibility of the manager, but our role is to verify whether the loan of 25 lakhs have been properly valued with the jewels pledged. That point you have to see. Appraiser signed on loan application form or give certificate. No, sir, appraiser is there to recommend only the jewel loan eligibility amount. It is a decision of the manager to consider the consider the loan amount. So both the appraiser has to sign in the recommendation column, manager has to sign in the loan sanction column. Then next we are moving to jewel loan closing application. Everything will be there in the jewel loan application, just like Alay application, everything will be there. Here you have to see the date of on the date of closing, the amount should have been paid into the account one. The jewels released with the description already made. The person who has received the jewels should also be confirmed. This is the third one is very, very important. If the loan is, if the signature is being done by mother and if the jewels have been received by the son, then it is a fraudulent transaction because the manager branch, they have to return the jewels only to the applicant, only to the borrower who has availed the loan and not to the third party. Though they are related, they are treated to be third party. In case of death of the borrower, based on the death certificate and hardship certificate, if jewels have been handed over, then it is perfect. But you have to verify this work. I can vouch because this is where I have found a very big fraud. That case I will discuss later. This portion must be examined by the chartered accountant. Though you need not waste your time, you have to delegate this work to the staff. You can ask the staff to verify the name or the signature of the borrower and the person who has received the jewels. It should tally. If the signature is done by Mr. A, and if the jewels have been handed over to B without any evidence, then it's a violation. So first thing you have to see that really that jewel loan is closed and who has received the jewels. And manager has to authorize the closure. Yes, this party has closed the loan. Then the receipt, in the receipt column, there is one thing saying that the jewels which are mortgaged, which are pledged, has been returned without any damage. There is one declaration column. In that column also, the branch, they have to obtain the customer signature or borrower signature. It's a very, very important thing. So normally we are concentrating only on the Alay account. Even not only jewels, you have to verify the loan closed during the year. In the form of term loan, in the form of CC, everything you have to verify because you are doing audit for one financial year starting from 1st April 2020 to 31 2021. You have to concentrate on the closed loans during the year, and particularly loans sanctioned during the year and closed during the year. You have to do 100% verification. You have to be very, very careful why they have sanctioned the loan, why they closed the loan without any reasons. And if you happen to go and see that the party would have, in order to avail subsidy, they avail the loan. After a receipt of subsidy, they close the loan. So if that is the case, then it also a violation of bank's rules and regulations. So as a chartered accountant, you have to see all the loans closed during the year. So with reference to jewel loan, you have to see the jewel loan closing application. You have to see the date of return Then borrower consent that he has received the jewels. That is very, very important. Then signature of the borrower tally. That's also because the person who has pledged the jewels, he has to say that I have received the jewels, and that he has to put his signature. If the signature stroke differs, then it's a violation. So you have to ask for the jewel loan closing application. Most of the chartered accountants, we are not asking for the closed jewel loan application. Kindly do, at least from this year, you have to add this point in your audit program that jewel loan closed during the year, you have to verify. Then interest calculation unpaid. What's the interest rate? Suppose if the loan is for 1 year, if the loan is closed after 1 year, the bank has to collect penal interest at the rate of 2%. So what is the interest rate applicable? Well, to what extent the customer has paid the interest, that point also you have to see. Then the jewels should be released only in front of the branch manager or officer. The appraiser, he should not release the jewels. So jewels, it has to be received, it has to be returned only in front of the manager. Only before the manager, the jewels have to be returned and not before anyone. Now stock verification. Yes. Now you have entered this is the important thing I have discussed. Next one, the practical issue I am going. Now you have entered the vault. You happen to see a very big bureau, big almirah is there, and inside there are a lot of trays of them. In each and every tray, you can find a note, or you can find some bin card, some card is there, or some slip will be there. Everything it will be as per the tray wise. In the stock register, you can find the tray wise stock and they add the balance. That balance should tally with the final stock register, stock list. So trade wise, tray wise, you can find a bin card, note or slip, everything will be there. So suppose if you want to verify one tray, then you can pull the tray and you count the packets. If the packet is 42, then you have to find the same number in the bin card or that statement or in that notebook. If that is there, then that tray stock is tallied. Then after verification of one particular tray, you have to do it manually, that in this particular tray, this is a stock. In this particular tray, this is a stock. You have to add all your stock. Then compare the closing stock with the stock list that has been produced by the bank. So verify the stock with bin card, note or notebook or slip tray wise. And if you find any excess jewel packets or short jewel packets, you have to ask for the reasons. Because loans have been closed, but jewels have not been paid. This is due to the reason that the borrower might be sending the amount from abroad or might be sending from some account to this account. He has not come to the branch, but he has not taken the jewels. That is one reason. If that is a case, then you have to see that this loan application, the loan application of this customer, this jewels should be with the bank. One. Sometimes the borrower would have died, or sometimes there will be some family dispute. The family members, they would have issued a notice to the bank that these jewels should not be returned, but they have closed the loan. If that is the case, then you have to ask for the reasons and you have to record that point in your report that there are, as per the stock register, it is only 532 packets. On my physical verification, I have found out 540 packets. That means there are 8 excess packets. This is due to because of the following reasons. This reason you have to record in your audit report. Excess short, you have to record in your report and you have to ask for the reasons of the excess or short, and that point you have to give in your audit report. And now you happen to see the jewel. Now you have counted the, you have seen that jewel packets are there. The jewel packets may be in the form of transparent packet. So on transparent packet, you can see the jewels, but in cloth bag, you are not able to see the content or quantity or quality of the jewels inside the cloth bag. And one information I want to say that during statutory audit, don't bother about the purity of the jewels. You have to give in your report that I have carried out only the counting of jewel loan packets. You have to be specific. Suppose if you have tested the purity, you have to take note of it, take note of those numbers and stated that for the 10 following jewels, for the 10 following accounts, I have verified the jewels in with reference to the purity method. So you have to give specific, but in statutory audit, don't bother about the purity of the jewels. That you have to specifically report that I have verified only the jewel loan packets and not the purity of the jewels. You have to give specific point, specific report in your audit report. Now you happen to see a cloth bag or transparent packet. Okay, you can do the calculation 1, 2, 3. That the transparent packet has contained jewels, but as per the latest norms issued by Reserve Bank of India, they have to keep the jewels in the transparent. Even suppose in olden times, because some 2 years back or 3 years back, if anyone has been availed the jewel loan, those jewel loans will be kept in the cloth packet. Even still, banks they are following only the cloth bag packets. Okay, now you have entered the bank and you happen to see that there are a lot of cloth bags. There is jewel loans have been put in the cloth bag. Now you have to count it. Normally you have to count. Normally what we are doing, how we are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very fast we are doing it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I want to tell the slogan for the jewel loan packet verification. This point you have to bear in mind. So you have to count it slowly. For other loans of the borrower, some banks continue the pledge jewels even if it is closed. Do not release, sir. In such cases, separate documents ought to be obtained. See, Vishwan, sir, you have asked a very good question. I'll come back to you after the jewel loan packet verification. Now you are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't do it fast. You have to touch the packet. This instruction you have to give to your staff. Don't waste your time. You can delegate this work to your staff. Or sometimes if you find time, you can do it. The slogan for verification of jewel packets is you have to touch the packet, sense the packet that something is inside. Feel the packet is not a jewelry and count. Touch, sense, feel and count. 1, 2, 3. In third packet, you found something wrong. Then you can pull the packet. Then you ask the manager, sir, can you open it? The manager, he has to open it and show that there is jewelry up. If it is not there, then you have to report this point in your audit report. So the slogan for verifying the jewels are the packet. Don't do it very fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 42. Yes, 38. Don't do it because you have to do a tray-wise counting. So the slogan for, once again, I'm repeating, because most of the chartered accountants they have failed in counting the packets. They have counted, but that counting is not the real one. You have to follow the slogan: touch, sense, feel, and count. 1, 2. Okay, 42. Trade, it is tallied with bin card. Yes. So you have to follow the slogan of touch, sense, feel, and count. This instruction you have to give to your staff. Suppose if you are going for audit, you have to do it. Sir, okay. Some banks continue the pledge to jewel loan. See, Vishwanath sir, you have asked a very good question, and even in most of the customers, I used to advise. Among most of the customers, I used to advise, don't avail jewel loan where you have got cash credit. Even today in evening also one client came, sir, I'm a defaulter in cash credit, but also I have availed a jewel loan. When I close the jewel loan, the manager is not returning my jewels. So this may be one of the reasons. So this is the advice I used to give. Whoever availed the cash credit loan, don't avail jewel loan in that bank. You have to move to some other bank, or you can avail the jewel loan in someone's name. It's only a planning. I cannot say that it's a wrong thing. It's only a planning, because if here in my client case, he has closed the jewel loan, but he is not able to get the jewels banks. And the question with reference to Vishwanathan is, for other loans of the borrower, some banks continue the pledged loan jewels even if jewel loan is closed. Do not release, sir. In such case, separate document. See, once a loan is closed, that means the loan is closed. There is no need to avail to. There is no need to obtain separate document, because it is not a loan. They are banks. They are retaining the possession of jewels because of the loans that the borrower has already availed in other head. It's only be taken as security. It is not a pledge. It's not a pledge. Once a loan is closed, then the right of pledge, that is the pledge concept goes out, but it can be taken as security or collateral security to the other. Other points in jewel verification. The stamping, normally when you go to the banks, it's electronic. You can find electronic machine and everything, but all weighment scale should be sealed, should get the license, they have to produce those scales to the labor department. To get in Tamil Nadu, the labor department has got the power to issue the stamping license with reference to the scales, weighment scales. So the stamping has to be done every year. This certificate you have to ask from the manager. Stamping of scale has to be done once in a year. Weighment and measurement seal. Yeah, Shankar said that's correct. Weighment and measurements seal you have to see. This certificate you have to ask from the manager. Kindly take note of it while you are going for audit, not only for statutory audit, even for content audit. You have to get this certificate from the manager and see that it is the period of license, whether it is for 1 year or 2 years. Sometimes some state governments say that it is 2 years. Yeah, Yuvraj sir, if you got any doubt, you can unmute and you can tell. Yuvraj sir. Okay. Stamping of scale once in a year. Next one is take the stock. You have to take the stock on the date of visit and not on 31st March. Yeah, Yuvraj sir, if you want to say something, you can say.
Okay, sir, unmute, sir.
Okay. So take the stock on the date of visit and not on 31st March. So for this, you have to get the stock statement duly signed by the branch manager. Next point is do the verification of jewels only in front of the official. Suppose sometimes the officials say that, sir, I have to pass some checks, I have to go out. You just count the packets because you are the auditor. You just verify all the packets, then I'll come back. If that is the case, you have to leave the vault room. You are not supposed to sit there without the official. If there are officials, you have to go out and do it. Don't do the verification without officials' presence. This is very, very important thing. This you have to take note of it. Sometimes you say that, yes, sir, I will verify, but there is a shortage of jewel packets. Then the manager or officer say that, so no, sir, at the time of handing over the package to you, everything is perfect. I think you would have misplaced something. So this is the thing used to receive the reply from the branch head. So don't do the verification without officials, or do the verification in front of the officials only. And you have to see all the KYC norms, all the whether the branch has obtained the KYC with reference to jewel. You have to ask. And one friend said that Since this party is having some other current account, they mentioned that this party is already a bank. They have not obtained KYC. Yeah, that is also permitted. You can do it without without KYC. They have released the loan, but in that application, they have to mention that this customer, this borrower has already got the account in this number. Next one is declaration that the jewels belong to the borrower. That's a form in the application that this is these jewels belong to me only. So it's a self-declaration form is there in the application. You have to see that those declaration letter is being duly signed by the borrower. And you have to see the processing charge, whether the branch has corrected the processing charge or not. That you have to see. And appraisal commission and processing charge, we have already discussed whether the appraiser has charged the commission according to the head office norms or not. Next thing is the jewels should be kept in joint custody. The jewels should be kept in joint custody. So just like key movement register, there is one register called jewel loan joint custody register. That is one. Few banks they maintain joint custody register. You have to ask for the joint custody register. You have to see that all the officers who are in charge of those jewels have signed the register or not. This work you can give to a stamp, but you have to see that the jewels have to be kept in joint custody. Next one is jewel custody after release of the loan. So loans they have closed the this point is different. This I have obtained, I have observed from a lot of banks. Even you would have observed. See, a borrower, a jewel loan borrower, he came to the bank and he has availed the jewel loan. Then after that, the jewel loan, that is jewelry, they put the appraiser has put the jewel in a cloth bag or transparent packet, but the appraiser is returning the possession of the jewels. This is wrong because when any loan is released, the jewels should come into the possession of the branch manager or in the possession of the officer. The jewels should not be in the custody of the the appraiser should not have the custody of the jewels against which loans have already been sanctioned. So this is a very, very serious mistake which almost all banks they are following. In the evening, they ask the appraiser to bring all the jewels, and the officer is verifying. Okay, for this loan, you have 10 jewels. Yeah, jewels are intact. Yeah, I am satisfied. So normal procedure is the jewel loans. Jewel loan is sanctioned. After that, based on the the jewels should be handed over to the officer. It should not be kept in the custody of the appraiser. This point you have to bear in mind. For my verification contents in jewel loan packets by opening for test check, what is the percentage recommended? Sir, it is up to you to see. Now, as per the latest LFAR, they are saying that to what extent you are done test package, test check. That thing you have to take note of it. But if all jewel loans will be definitely below the 10% of the overall outstanding. So it is up to you to decide, sir. Even you can go for 100% test checking. Even for 5% also you can do it. It is up to you to decide. But you have to see that those jewel loans are, all jewel loans have been supported by the jewel packets. Everything you have to satisfy. So the test check with reference to jewel loan is the charter accountant decision. This is according to me. So jewel appraiser done at the branch and not outside. Normally what the few banks say that, sir, we have not got jewel appraiser. We are at present jewel appraiser is not there. You go outside, there is one shop is there who has got the license. You go and get the license, go and get the certificate from that party, that the person, then bring the slip to us, then we will sanction the loan. So it should not be allowed. So the jewel appraisal should be done only at the branch and not at the outside of the branch. Then sometimes, this is the Reserve Bank guidelines, this is the head office guidelines. Sometimes the pawnbroker and staff, they would have availed the loan. So before availing the loan, under pawnbroker category, under staff category, the branch has to get permission from the controlling authorities. Sometimes the manager has been given the general permission that the manager can give staff loan to the extent of 3 lakhs or 2 lakhs. If that is the case, or if you can ask this question to the manager, sir, you have given the loan to the staff. Can you give the evidence that you have got the delegated powers to sanction the loan or not? This point you have to ask. Next thing is discretionary powers. So up to 10 lakhs, the manager can sanction. If the jewel loan exceeds more than 10 lakhs, it has to be sanctioned only by the regional office. There will be some circular like that. So you go to the circular. That's why I asked, you have to ask for the jewel loan circular. Go to the circular and take note of it that the manager has got powers to sanction only 10 lakhs. So based on the discretion powers only, the jewel loans have to be sanctioned. This point as a chartered accountant, you have to verify. Next one is reappraisal. Nowadays, I came to know that most of the banks, they are doing the jewel loan appraisal work every month. Nowadays, some 3 nationalized banks I have seen in my Salem area. All those 3 nationalized banks, they are doing jewel appraisal work every month. And some banks, they are doing it on a half-yearly basis. Some banks, they are doing it on yearly basis. So as a chartered accountant, you have to go and ask, sir, on which date you have done the reappraisal of the loan. This point you have to see, because we are not asking this question. You have to ask. The stamping of scale also done only in the bank. Sir, Amar sir, stamping of scale has to be done only by the respective government agency. In Tamil Nadu, it is Labor Department. I don't know about Karnataka or Calcutta. I don't know the rules, but the stamping has to be done only by the government authority and not by the bank itself. So reappraisal has to be done once in a year or half yearly. As a chartered accountant, you have to ask, sir, what is the last date of reappraisal done by the by you? This letter you have to ask. So multiple jewel loans to a single borrower, interest rate applicable. Say in bank circular, you can see that up to 50,000, this is the interest rate, whether it is agriculture advance or non-agriculture advance. Up to 50,000, this is the interest rate. The loan amount exceeds 50,000, the interest rate is higher. So today they would have availed 25,000 at the rate of 7%. If the amount exceeds 50,000, the bank has to collect 9%. Suppose after 2 days, the borrower would have come once again to the bank and would have availed a jewel loan, say 40,000. So 25 plus 45, then it exceeds 50,000. Then the bank has to collect 9% for the entire amount. And for 25,000, 7%. For the remaining amount, it is 40,000 is 9%. That is wrong. So the bank has to charge 9% as a whole. So multiple jewel loans availed by the single borrower, you have to see what is the interest rate applicability. This you can find from the CAF. If you go and get the information based on the CAF, that is customer index folio, you will get the information. Then loan, already we have discussed in the first slide that jewel loan should not be given to bullion or gold biscuits or gold coin. See, when you happen to see the packets, jewel packets, if there is any coins they have considered as jewels, then that is a wrong thing, because as per RBI norms, banks, they are not allowed to sanction the loan against bullion, loan against coin, loan against the biscuits, gold biscuits. Then TDS on appraisal commission, I already said, the branch has collected commission directly and credited to P&L account, and from that they paid the commission to the appraiser. Then the bank has to collect TDS. This point you have to see, because this point is needed in your tax audit report, because nowadays tax audit work is also given to the chartered accountant. In tax audit report, if you say nil, then you will be in trouble, because if no TDS is being made, then you have to report. To that extent, expense is being added while calculating the profit. So TDS on appraisal commission is a must one, you have to see. Then see the appraisal charges only see, you have to see that only the appraiser is collecting only the eligible commission from the customer. This you have to see from the jewel loan circulars. You can see the appraiser has to pay this much of commission only. Say for 1 lakh, they have to pay 25 rupees. For 2 lakhs, they have to pay some 50 rupees. There will be some slab. Kindly take note of it and do the audit. Next one is check the loan account maintained even after closure. Sometimes the jewel loan is closed, but jewels are there in the vault. In that case, you have to verify why the loan is closed, why they are keeping the jewels. So that's why already we have discussed, due to family dispute, some loan from other head the borrower would have availed. Then legal have disputes, legal have eligibility. Otherwise, the borrower would have gone abroad, but he has closed the loan from there, but he is not here to receive the jewel packets. So this might be the reasons. And even if you happen to see that there are jewel amount, loan amount is 100 rupees or 200 rupees. If it is outstanding, then you have to ask why still it is 100 rupees or 200 rupees, but he has got the jewelry worth of 2 lakhs. So normally what people they are doing, if you are going abroad or if you are going outside your place, they are going to bank. They pledged some 8 sovereigns into the bank. 8 sovereigns means 8 into 8 into 8 into 2,300. So their eligibility loan amount is 1,47,200, but he has received only 1,000 rupees as well. This is because that borrower wants to keep his jewels in the safe custody. Okay, suppose if you are going and if you are getting locker, you have to pay yearly rent of say 3,000 or 4,000. In order to avoid that, they have gone to the bank. They have pledged 10 sovereigns, 20 sovereigns, but they have availed only 1,000 rupees. So if that is the case, then you have to ask why a lower amount of loan is being availed by the borrower. Then jewel loans overdue. If any jewel loans are overdue, then the banker has to send a notice to the borrower saying that your jewel loan is overdue. Please come and close the loan and take back your jewels. The banker, they have to send the notice. Then you have to see whether agricultural advances or non-agricultural. This category you have to be very, very careful. The eligibility of agricultural jewel loans, eligibility of non-agricultural jewel loans, you have to be very, very careful. And this area we are not concentrating in the audit. Jewel auction. Normally we are seeing only the jewel loan closure, jewel loan stock and everything, but we are not concentrating on the jewel auction. So you have to ask the manager, sir, whether you have carried out any jewel auction or not. Manager said, yes, sir, we have carried out. Then you have to ask for the proceedings. The notice sent to the borrower, what is the paper advertisement, whether the jewels, whether those jewels have been closed by the borrower, whether those jewels have been auctioned, and the number of persons who have participated in the auction, everything you have to take note of it. And you have to see that the jewel auction amount, suppose if the jewels have been auctioned for say 2 lakhs, but the party is having jewel loan outstanding worth of 75,000, then the excess amount of 1,25,000 should be credited to the borrowers. Here I want to share one of my experience that I don't want to mention the name of the bank. The jewels have been auctioned. One jewel, say, let us take 10,000 jewel outstanding for 2 customers. A customer's jewels have been auctioned for 17,500. B person's jewels have been auctioned only for 7,500, against which the outstanding amount is 10,000. What this manager did, he has put the excess of 7,500, that is 2,500, to the deficit of B's account. This should not be done. because the excess of A's jewels auction should be credited to the customer A's SB account. That is 7,500 should be credited to the A's account. Here the manager, what he did, out of this 7,500, he has taken 2,500 to the B's account. He has closed the B's account. It should not be there. So it is a violation of contract of bailment. So this case, this type of things also I noticed in my practice, and you have to see that jewels have been auctioned as a whole and not in piecemeal basis. Suppose if anyone in the auction, they say that, sir, I want only bangle and not the necklace, which should not be done. You have to do the auction with reference to description of the jewelry as a whole and not in part. See, bangles I want to take and not the jewels. It should not be done. So this bangle and this jewelry is the total value. You have to carry out the auction. All these auction proceedings, you have to see. You have to see while you are doing the audit. And was asked this question. And Narayan sir asked, what is the jewel loan process to be adopted for auction process? It's a very, very simple thing, sir. First, you have to see that overdue notice he has to send. You have to see whether the branch has sent the overdue notice. Then after that, in spite of giving time, he has to send a final notice saying that if you are not coming to the branch and close the loan within this date, we are going to do the auction. So if you are going for the auction, you have to publish the borrower's details, jewelry details in the newspaper, 2 newspapers, one in English, one in the local language. Okay. Now he has to mention the auction date. If before the auction date, the borrower has come and he has paid the amount, then those jewels are not eligible for auction. The manager should not carry out the auction. The manager should not say that, no, we have already given your jewels in the auction notice. We will not allow you to close the loan. This is not the correct reply. So if the borrower came to the branch and they see that the jewels loans have been paid, then the manager has to return the jewels to the borrower. Even there is one thing, on the fall of hammer, for before third stroke, if the loans have been paid, then those items are not eligible to be auctioned. So this is a procedure. So in auction, you are sending the auction, auction details in the newspaper. After that, on that particular day, lot of people, they will come. You have to record everything in the register, and just like auction, you have to take note of the step-by-step auction amount. Say 5,000, 5,500, 5,600, 5,700 by A, B, C, everything. Just like chit fund account, you have to write the auction date. Then who is taking the final auction? You have to give the jewels only after receipt of money. You have received the money. You have to adjust the loan. Any surplus that you have to give credit to the SBI. This is a procedure to be followed in auction. Many banks, especially, do not generate a GST invoice for the auction gold loans. And a Supreme Court decision. One second. A Supreme Court decision in South Indian Bank has held that jewels pledged in bank or the bank's property upon the default of jewel loan. Is this not a failure? Then internal controls evasion of GST. Sir, nowadays, if any sale is done by branch, by bank, they have to collect GST. The instruction has already been given to the bank. Not only this jewels, if the branch has auctioned old furnitures also, they have to collect the GST. So even in auction, though it is not the bank's property, banks have got the bailment right over the property. If the bank is executing the sale deed, they have to collect GST because you are the owner. You are selling your property, so you have to collect the GST as per the GST Act. You have to collect it. Suppose if only small amount is outstanding, will the whole jewels be auctioned? Yes, Rangaraja Ranga Ramanujam sir. Yes, whether the amount is small or big, if the bank can execute the right of sale, because even in spite of repeated notice, in spite of the dead action, in spite of paper publication, the borrower has not come and the banks have got the right to do the auction. So kindly this year, at least from this year, you have to see the auction proceedings in jewels. And payment and purity certificate has to be given by the appraiser. That point you have to see. A notice has to be sent. Say in auction, you have to see whether the payment and purity certificate has been done by the appraiser. And you have to see that before going for to the auction, the notice has to be sent to the borrower. Then paper advertisement you have to see. Then date of action and participation at who are all participated. Everything the branch should have list. Should have a list and in whose front jewels have been auctioned, because you have to create the record that the jewels have been auctioned in front of the regional manager, in front of the collector, in front of the police officials. The record the branch has to mention in full, because there should not be any defraud in the auction. So the banks, they have to record these proceedings in whose the jewels have been auctioned. Then do as a whole and not in piece. I already said you have to do the auction for bangles. Suppose if the borrower has given bangle and chain, the both bangle and chain should be auctioned jointly and not in piecemeal. This point you have to see. And even in one of my cases, the manager, to recover what he did, that borrower has pledged 2 bangles and 2 necklaces. He has removed 1 bangle, 1 necklace. He has gone to local jewelry shop. There he has sold those bangle and necklace and taken the money. Has given the money to. He has credited the money to the jewel loan account. This should not be there. If that is there, then the manager has violated the contract of bailment. As a chartered accountant, you have to see. Suppose if any amount is overdue, and you are even the overdue jewels also, you can check whether why those jewels have been kept pending for more than 2 years, for 3 years. It might be some spurious gold will also be inside. If that is the case, you can ask the manager to do the appraising of those jewels. And particularly concurrent, as a concurrent auditor, if you are a concurrent auditor, you have to be very, very careful. And for any overdue jewels for more than 1 year, you have to do the appraisal. And that appraisal work should be done before you credit the amount into the loan account, and surplus to be credited to the borrower's account, and shortage has to be recovered. And the surplus of one account should not be adjusted against another party's account. So in one of the banks, I have noticed this, and the manager has been suspended because of this report, because he has violated the contract of bailment. If the amount is realized in auction is less than the loan amount, no, actually, Narayan sir, if the loan amount is that is recovery amount falls short of loan amount, this amount of shortage has to be recorded from the borrower, just like a civil case. The bank has to file a civil case before court of law. Just like that, you have to do it. It is you are not supposed to write off the balance. You have to take all legal proceedings. You have to file the case. Then if the court says that, okay, there is no chance for recovery, then only you have to write off. The manager has got no direct right to write off the shortage amount. This is a reply I want to give to Mr. Narayan sir. Anil Sahu sir, bank auction of jewels, but no one has bought. Then fir kya hoga? I don't know Hindi sir. Anil Sahu sir, then what to do next? Yeah, what to do next? Okay, what to do next? You have to keep in your stock. Then you have to get the head office permission. Then after getting head office permission, you can go to the shop and you can sell it. But anything, if the bank is directly selling it, they have to follow the normal procedure of auction. If in the auction the jewels have not gone, then once again you have to reconduct the auction once, two times or 3 times. But I want to share one information here. You can do the auction at any number of times. In Salem, there is one big party who has availed more than 400 crores from various banks. It's a multiple bank they have arranged. All the 4 banks, they call for the auction against that property. no one has come and bought the house, bought the property. Okay, in that case, the branch still, even after 6 years also, they are conducting the auction. They are issuing auction notice because there are no takers. If someone has come, then there also this borrower have threatened, after I use the word threatened the persons who have participated in the auction. So that this is also possible. So if the property has not been auctioned in this time, they have to do the re-auction. So in spite of a repeated thing, the jewels have not been auctioned, they have to get the head office permission, then they can, what the suggestion given by the head office, they'll do it. And once again, I want to make a request to the fellow friends, someone is crippling the screen, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Yeah, Shankar sir said it's a protestable. Any short amount, it has to be treated as protestable. You have to file the case before court of law to recover the shortage. And before going to that, I want to share 2 frauds which I have found out in my audit career. I have found out some in jewels. I have found out more than 7, but I want to share 2 important frauds in jewels. This is my experience. Even a lot of seniors also, they would have got this experience, but I want to share this. One is I've gone for the statutory audit to the bank which is situated at the rural area. When I entered the branch, the manager asked me, sir, which area you want to concentrate, which area you want to do the audit. Immediately asked, are you ready to do the cash verification? I said, no, sir. At present, I am not interested to do the cash verification. Then after that, he asked me, are you ready to verify the jewels? I said, no, sir. At present, I am not ready to do the jewel loan verification. Then what you want to do? I want to do the advances area verification. I have started advanced area verification. After seeing the jewel loan transactions, I thought it's the right time for me to go and do the jewel loan document verification, jewel loan stock verification. When I asked this, sir, now I want to do the jewel loan verification, immediately that manager said, no, sir, when you enter the branch, I asked you, I offered you, are you ready to do the jewel loan verification? You said no. So I have given the offer, you said no. So I will not permit you to do the jewel loan verification. So my experience is not only in this area, any bank audit area, any document area, if anyone has objected to your audit program, then I can vouch that there will be 100% fraud in that area. This is my experience. Even I can say that a lot of frauds are reported. More than 17 officials, they have been dismissed from service. Even still 42 officials, they are still under suspension based on my audit report. But my observation is, if anyone is objecting to your audit program, audit method, then I can vouch that there will be more than 100% fraud chance is there. So here, what is it? No, I will not allow you. Then what I did, I have repeatedly asked him for more than 2 times or 3 times. Then I call the the regional office and say that, sir, this manager is not allowing me to do the jewel loan verification. Then they have given the instruction. They have given instruction that, sir, you have to allow the jewel loan verification. Yes, I started my slogan. I already said for jewel loan is tax, sense, feel, and count. So slowly I counted the packet. After 8 packets, I have found out that 1 packet is different. Then I pulled the packet and asked the manager, sir, kindly open this packet. I want to see the items packed inside. What he said, sir, regional office has given permission only to count the packet and not to open the packet. Once again, I call the regional office. Sir, he is objecting to my method of verification. Then the regional office, once again, they say that, no, you have to allow the manager, you have to allow the auditor to verify the jewels. You have to open the packet and you have to show the quantity and the description of the jewels to the auditor, which should tally with the application. So he has opened the packet. Then I have found out that a small stone is inside. There is no jewelry, only small stone. Some 2 bangles, 1 small stone is inside to offset the weight. Then I immediately thought that he has done some fraud. I said, sir, why a stone is inside? Then I asked, sir, no, sir, I don't know, sir, why a stone is inside? So he has said, okay, sir, I have taken note of that number and proceeded further. Then after some 17 packets, I have found out the same thing. I have pulled that packet. Then I asked the manager, sir, kindly open the packet. I want to see this packet also. Then he immediately objected, no, sir, the permission is given to you only to open that packet and not this packet. So this type of dispute I had in my audit. Then once again, I repeatedly requested regional office that, sir, he is not allowing me to do the audit. Then they once again said, no, you have to allow the auditor, you have to open the packet. That I have found that another stone is inside. Okay, immediately I said, sir, I don't know how the stone comes inside the packet. The manager said the reply like that. Then I happened to see almost more than 17, 18 packets. Then I have found out the same thing inside. So, but I have not requested the manager to open those packets. I came outside and I have informed the regional office that, sir, he has put stones inside the jewel packets. He is not allowing me to verify the jewel packets and he is not cooperating. Can you send a team immediately? Because it's a very, very dangerous thing, sir. Because according to me, it's a fraudulent transaction. Can you send your team to help me in doing the verification? They have sent the team. Within half an hour, people, they came. Then they verified the entire jewel packets because they have got the power to open the packet. They can do the appraisal work. They can do the everything. That before, because I have already started to come do the audit in other area. These people, they started to verify the jewel packets. There they have found more than 48 packets. Almost 48 packets have got stones inside. So they booked him under fraud. Even I have reported the transaction under fraud, and that man was dismissed from service. That's a different issue. So this is my what I can say, that it's a small experience in it. Second thing is, it's a very, very what can I say? It's a very big area where I have found out jewel loan fraud of 87 lakhs. 87 lakhs. So I have gone for one of the banks. It's a statutory audit. See, normally when you go to the bank, what you will do, you will simply hand over the appointment letter and your consent letter. Sir, I want to commence the audit. Yes, the manager said that, okay, you can go and do the audit. Then after some time, one fellow, he has come inside my audit cabin, and he said, sir, do you want coffee or tea? Then I immediately asked him, sir, why you ask me? He said, no, sir, I am the jewel appraiser. So whoever comes to the bench, I'll take care of them. That means he is taking care of all auditors and everyone out of his charges. Then I immediately said, sir, you go and do your duty, don't come. Then I immediately asked my audit staff to do the 100% verification of jewel loan application, jewel loan closed verification, and jewel loan packet verification. I asked the staff to do 100% verification. And my friend who was retired AGM of one of the nationalized, one of the scheduled banks, he has found that the quantum that, say, if you touch the packet, the description is jewels. Description is no bangle inside. Some empty bags are there. Instead of 2 bangles, only 1 bangle is there. When we count this, the loss worked out to this fraud or shortage worked out to 87 lakhs. This point I have noted and I have reported to the Reserve Bank of India. Then on seeing my report, within 3 days, RBI officials and the bank's head office team came to the branch. When they verified the entire package, they came to a conclusion that 1,48,000 value of jewels were not there. It's a fraud. It's a fraud. But I have reported 87 lakhs. But on test check basis, I put that on test check basis, I have found out a fraud of 87 lakhs. There they have found out 1.48 lakhs, 100%. Then they called, they called, then they called the appraiser to give explanation. Then after some time, the appraiser see that he was caught on red-handed. Then what he did, sir, I'll go for lunch and come back. He went home. Then after that, he has not returned to the branch. Then the manager sent his peon to the appraiser's house. There he has found that appraiser has committed suicide because of the fraud reporting. This is a very, very serious thing, because as a chartered accountant, you have found out one fraud and you have reported the fraud to the head office. The head office team has confirmed that appraiser has committed fraud and he has committed suicide. So it's a major thing which I have found out in my audit. And also this news has come in media also. Few chartered accountants in my area, they say that, sir, you are reported as a fraud. Based on your fraud only, this appraiser has committed suicide. Are you not feeling guilty? Are you not feeling guilty? I said, no. Auditor duty ends whenever and wherever he reports. Don't have any follow-up action in the audit report. This is the thing I want to share with reference to jewel loans verification. And if you got any other idea, any other thing I omitted, you can share your experience. Mohan sir said, they are not required to mark the weight of the jewel contents on the pocket? Sir, I can say the modus operandi. Yes, they have to do the verification. See, the thing is the appraiser, what he used to say, he used to do it. Sir, he put the jewels in the scale. The officer say that, okay, it is tallied. Then, and before putting the jewels, he pulled one bangle to his table drawer. So thereby, yes, at the time of putting the jewels for weight, it is tallied. At the time of packing, he has removed one ornament. So this is the modus operandi he has adopted. And as a chartered accountant, you have to be very, very careful. I want to say the slogan for jewel loan verification is touch, sense, feel, and count. Definitely, you will find anything, any fraud. If it is there, you can find. The slogan is touch, sense, feel, and count. You tell this slogan to your staff and do the jewel loan verification perfectly. And another thing, if you fail to explain, if you fail to find any fraud, then you are responsible to the loss to the bank, apart from losing your certificate, apart from facing your insured action. So if any fraud is undetected during the course of audit, not only in jewels, in any area, if any fraud is undetected during the course of audit, then the auditor is held personally responsible for the loss to the bank, apart from losing your certificate, apart from facing actions from our insured, apart from facing the action from the court, RBI, and the concerned banks. These are the dangerous things. So while doing the audit, you have to satisfy yourself that there is no fraud. Nowadays, now in this latest latest LFAR, you go to point number 4 in LFAR, some 6-7 fraud activities have been noted. Previous LFAR in point number 5, there are only 3 columns. Here it is 6 columns with a lot of large description. So you must go and read the LFAR point number 4 under fraud. Otherwise, you are in danger. In previous LFAR, which they have issued in the year 2002, you can offer yes, no, nil, not applicable. But here in the RBI circular of latest circular issued in the month of September 2020, they are specific. You have to mention a specific command. You should not give vague command. No, not applicable, not related to me. Don't do that. You have to give full description in the LFAR reply. It's a very, very important thing, sir. Please take note of it. And any doubt with reference to jewel loan verification, you can ask. And I plan to have cash verification once again on say 12th of this month, morning 11:30 to 1:30 on the request. Suppose if you have If any member has not participated in my presentation, you can participate. And after that, I'm going to cover other part of the verification that I will tell either tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I'll tell, but I plan to conduct cash verification presentation on 12th of March morning 11:30 to 1:30. You can convey this message. You can convey the message to your friends and to the students. And Monica sir also okay. Amar sir, you asked tomorrow new point. What Amar sir? You said tomorrow new point. Yeah. I think I plan to conduct a bank guarantee area, because that area also we are not concentrating. We are not doing it. Bank guarantee. What is the bank guarantee? It's a financial guarantee, a performance guarantee. How to do audit, that area I'm going to cover. I decided to cover bank guarantee area. Any doubt, you are welcome. And today's attendance, I crossed, day for yesterday it was 81. Now today it is 83. 83 members they have participated. I think I have got 2 members increase in my presentation. Please tell the sale of jewels auction comes, sir, any sale, if it is directly anyone who is selling the jewels, they have to pay GST. That's all. You can say that the jewels belong to the bank. Then who is executing the sale deed? If it is if the sale deed is executed by the bank, then the bank has to collect GST in that transaction and they have to make the payment to the government. If the bank has not collected GST, then as an auditor, you have to cover that point in your report, that GST has not been collected, because this point you have to cover in tax audit report. Veerapandiyan sir, is it okay? Yuvraj sir, you are not asking any questions, sir. You can unmute, no? I'll unmute you. One second, Yuvraj sir, I'll unmute yourself. Now you can unmute yourself and you can speak, sir. Yuvraj sir, I'm seeing you from the beginning. Just switching on your video and I'm enjoying your presentation, your presence. Yeah. Yuvraj sir, where are you from?
From Erode, sir.
Huh?
From Erode, sir.
Erode, number. Okay.
Okay, thank you for the presentation, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sir.
Thank you.
Visited, I mean, when
Very helpful, man.
When Kandasamy was the chairman, I visited Erode to present paper. Amar sir, I have seen you.
Yes, sir.
The old Amar, na? MEF. The person who has asked MEF question. Correct?
Yes. Sir, try to conduct the lecture on a daily basis, if possible.
Sir? Daily basis.
Yeah. Sir, because we are only shortest time now, only 10 to 15 days only.
See, there are only some 4 or 5 hot topics. We'll see. We'll see. See, I have to attend my office work also. It's a March, na?
Yeah.
Some time boring cases when last date rush will be there. We'll try, sir.
Yeah.
My plan is on Friday I have to take up cash verification once again, morning 11:30 to 1:30. Okay, and I plan to take bank guarantee presentation. I need 1 day time because everything I have to prepare the thing. Besides, I've been asked by various branches to present paper during their bank audit seminar. Tomorrow I am going to address Raja Mageshwaram and part, I think it's in Andhra and Guntur branch. Then I have to attend Kurnool, Kadapa, then Trichy see, branches, they are also inviting me as a faculty. So I have to give respect to the branches and branch members also. And
Right.
according, I mean, based on my own wish, I have started this presentation because I want to share my experience. So you are an youngster. Already you argued with me like a lot of things with me. Okay, I want to share my experience. A lot of youngsters are here. So they'll be enriched with the knowledge. So this is the thing I want to share. And Narajan sir, you are from? And you can unmute and sell, sir. Narayan sir, you have to unmute.
Sir, the presentation was excellent.
Yes, sir.
I think we have interacted. We were both batchmates at IP class in Chennai.
Okay. But you have changed a lot, sir. You have changed a lot.
Oh, I see.
See, still I have, you remember the, the fight that I had with some food and all.
Yeah.
So I have not, see, what I did, I don't want to attend the class. So I have concentrated on some other area. And very, very happy to see you, sir, once again.
Yes, sir.
So almost, it is 2000.
Yeah, it was around 2018, I suppose.
Yeah, it is 2018. After 3 years, I am meeting you. I was very, very happy, sir. You are from Chennai, no?
No, I am from Coimbatore.
From Coimbatore, yeah. And still we are having that IBC group, Chennai.
Yeah. I am in that group also.
Yeah. It's a very, very happy moment for me, sir. See Narayan sir once again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
It's
you.
also my pleasure.
And your man is SARC chairman. Jalpazi is SAR chairman, and Rajesh is now trying to
Yeah, it's the
contest for this year. Yes, sir.
great, sir. The seminar is the measure you have taken is excellent
Yes, sir.
to enrich our knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And day after tomorrow, I think it's possible to come for cash verification if you are not attended.
Yes, sir.
If
Yes, sir. I'm not
attended,
attended. I will try to
okay, well, time is 11:30 to 1:30 because my aim is that all the staff of the branch, staff of the auditors, they have to attend this class.
Yeah.
So if it is 11:30 to 1:30, staff will be there.
Okay.
So that's my idea. And to maximum extent, you can say this to your friends and staff, sir.
Oh, it's definitely, sir.
சார் நம்ம தெரிஞ்சதை எல்லாருக்கும் சொல்லணும் சார், அவ்வளவுதானே?
ஆமா சார்.
அவ்வளவுதான். ஏன்னா நம்ம ஸ்டாஃப் நம்பி தான் நம்ம இருக்கோம்.
ஆமா.
Staff வந்து unless they are educated, then we'll be caught.
கண்டிப்பா சார்.
அதான். And also even Sikasa நிறைய branchesலும் invite பண்ணாங்க. Even I have got offers from North India branches also வந்து கூப்பிட்டுட்டாங்க. But time தான் எல்லாம் ஒரே நேரத்துல வரா. அதான் that's we have to modify that time and do it. And ஒரே ஒரு இது பண்ணிட்டேன் சார், I am not going anywhere because of COVID. Sir, if it is online, you just fix the time, I will come. Yesterday I addressed Anna Nagar, Chennai. That was attended by almost 49 charter opponents. This LFIR new format I have covered. Thank you very much, and we'll see on Friday. We'll see so once again.
Yes, sir, definitely.
And my plan, and what are this important topic also you can suggest. So you take this topic and that topic, that also you can take.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And Ashish Thomas, sir, do you want to say anything, sir? Okay, friends. We will meet on some other day. I'll send the information to you as usual in the WhatsApp group. My request to the fellow members, please share the messages to all the friends. That's all, because we have to spread the knowledge of banks. Thank you very much. Good night. I'm just closing the session.